Hello owners, welcome to the Commissioner's Couch and a look back at Week 8. My game of the week this week's a little bit different. I usually don't do this, but I had so much fun watching this Monday night game, and the outcome of this fantasy game was so close, I had no choice but to make this the game of the week, even though these two teams combined for the lowest total output points this week. So, my game of the week this week is Loose Cannons over Mambunga Knights 62-61. Mambunga was down 30 points going into Monday night, but he had Gonzalez, Tammy, Dallas Clark's replacement, and Vinatieri all going. This one went down to the wire with Mambunga scoring 29 of the needed 30 points. He actually needed 31 because Loose Cannons had a slight advantage in bench scoring. So he came up just short, and man, it looked like, even going into the fourth quarter, it looked like Mambunga had it wrapped up, but couldn't pull off the win. Loose Cannons only had 2 in double digits, led by T.O.'s 18, including 2 touchdowns. For Mambunga, he had 3 in double digits, with Tammy and Vinny both scoring 12 in that Monday night game. So nice game there, guys. Had a lot of fun watching that one. High score of the week goes to the Rockers. 1 week late on their high score of the league prediction, but we'll take it. We put out the lights 118-64. 6 in double digits for the Rockers, led by Jamal Charles, 29 points on 177 yards rushing and 61 receiving yards. Jamal Charles leads all backs in the NFL in yards per carry, averaging over 6 yards per carry. Also leads all backs in receiving yards per catch at over 11 yards per catch. Yet is still not the feature back on his team. Baffling. Can't understand it. I should be getting 40 points from this guy every week. Gore had 19, and he became the first NFL player with 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards from scrimmage, when he ran for 118 yards. He also had a score in that one. What else we got here? Dan Carpenter and Mike Williams, Tampa Bay, each had 18. I can't even read my own writing here, guys. Castle had 13. Chiefs D had 11. A lot of Chiefs, a lot of Chief love on that Rocker team. Only 2 in double digits for the Lights. Rams D had 21. And Orton rallied late in his game to finish with 19 on 369 yards and a touchdown. Blowout of the week belongs to Super Simon. They headbanged the Headbangers into submission, topping them by 72 points with a 114-42 win. 5 in double digits for Simon, with 3 of those players over 20 points. Mike Sims Walker had 27 on 153 and a touchdown. Peyton Manning 22, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneer D 21 points. Another Jaguar had a big day for Simon. In a salute to our friend Fletch, Mercedes Lewis scored 17 points on 51 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. A little bit on Mercedes Lewis here. Prior to 2010, Lewis had 7 touchdowns in his entire career. He already has 7 touchdowns this year. Dallas's D was putrid in this game, making David Garrard look like the bastard love child of Dan Marino and Joe Montana. Matthews also chipped in 11 in the win. For the Headbangers, only 2 in double digits, including MJD's 16 and the Steelers' D 10. Prophetic mid-season report card on the Sheboygan Headbangers, I'd like to report. Master Killers, on the other hand, kept the rally, kept it going, kept rolling as he topped the Pitons 113-90. 6 in double digits for Master Killer, with Lloyd topping his scores with 28 points on 169 yards and a touchdown. Another guy here playing out of his mind. Prior to 2010, his best yardage, Brandon Lloyd's best yardage total was 733 yards way back in 2005 when he was playing with San Francisco. He already has 878 yards this year, and only 2 less touchdowns than his best year. This is a guy who played in only 21 games in the last 3 seasons, and only started 7 of those games, and now just on fire. Josh Freeman gets his name into the review this week. He has scored 19 points. Andre Johnson had 18, Run DMC 15, Mendenhall 14, and the Skins D 11 for that big Master Killer win. Pitons only had 3 in double digits, but all 3 of those were over 20 points. Foster had 24, Breeze 22, and of course Gates 20, including a 48-yard touchdown in his game. Those pesky monkeys win their second straight as they flung poo at the Dogs, 106-49. I started doing a little research. Monkeys have broken 100 points 2 weeks in a row now, and I was just curious, have they ever done that in their past? So I started going back. I went back to 2007. They only scored over 100 twice that entire year. A week 8 loss, they scored 102, and then a week 12 win, they scored 109. In 2008, they broke 100 3 times. They had a week 2 win, scoring 108, a week 4 win, scoring 107, and a week 8 loss, again scoring 108 points. In 2009, they broke 100 4 times, including a stretch of 3 out of 4 games where they went over 100 points. It was weeks 3 through 6. They were 2-1 in those games. They scored 102, 118, and 107 in those 3 games. In week 13, it was a monkey high score of the career. I guess the 118 was the high score of the career. You matched that again in week 13 win with 118 points again. So far, in 2010, the Monkeys have broken 100 3 times already in 8 weeks. And they've had 2 additional weeks with 99 and 94 points. And so, yes, they have had back-to-back 100-point wins last year. They had again this year. And you know what? Maybe they are on the way up. Or maybe they just have Adrian Peterson, who scored 20 points again this week. And Larry Fitzgerald woke up, scoring 19. By far his best game of the year with 72 yards and 2 scores. 16 from his other Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick had 14. At 16, excuse me. He had 15 from Witten, 14 from Harvin, and 12 from the Jets D. Only 2 in double digits for the Dogs, with Beanie Wells at 12 and Matt Schaub with 10. Our last game was another close one. Cats winning by a whisker. I'm pretty sure I use the same little cat references every year. I think I need to come up with some new ones. Claws, whiskers, shaved, whatever. So, you know, I'll try and come up with some new cat ones. But he does win over T-Dub, 80-76. 3 in double digits for the Cats, including Week 8's top performer, Calvin Johnson. He had 30 points on 101 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. Kitna had 16, and he threw to Austin for 13. 3 in double digits for T-Dub as well. He was led by Rivers, 24 on 305 yards and 2 touchdowns. Janikowski had 15, and Chris Johnson had 13 in the loss. Again, going back a week or two, I said here Calvin Johnson was this week's top performer with 30 points. He was the top starting performer because David Garrard was on the bench with 38 on 260 yards passing, 4 passing touchdowns, and he added a rushing touchdown to that. Again, playing out of his mind in that Dallas game. And just to give Stafford some love, Stafford also top 30. He had 32 points on Manbunga's bench. Pick'em. All right, Manbunga continues to hold the lead. He's got 29 points, but has lost some ground to the Rockers as they get top honors for the second out of the last 3 weeks, now with a total of 25 points. He's tied for second with Pilot Lights at 25. Cats are third or fourth, depending on how you want to look at it, with their 23 points. I got some big games coming up this week. We have the 4-4 Pitons versus the 4-4 Upstart Monkeys. We've got the 5-3 Super Simon team versus the 4-4 Cats. And then in the biggest game of the week, the 5-3 Lights, Pilot Lights versus the 5-3 Sheboygan Headbangers. Both teams losing last week, trying to avenge those losses. That's going to be a big game to determine the lead. Take two in each of their divisions, the Stewie division and the Bryan division. Speaking of divisions, you guys know I love to talk about the Quagmire division. I can't help myself this week. Again, I have to ask, is the Quagmire I don't even know what word I wrote here. Essentially, are we continuing to dominate the Peanut Butter Jelly Time League? Here's a few more stats for you. 3 of the 4 teams won last week. We have the most combined wins of any division. We have led all scorers in 6 out of 8 weeks. We have 4 of the top 5 scoring teams in the league, and we hold 3 out of 4 and 4 out of the top 7 power rankings. This division is tough. I, myself, personally call for some sort of realignment next year because I'm tired of these guys. A couple other things to think about as we head towards the weekend. 9 out of our 12 teams in the league are 500 or better. I cannot remember a year that has been this close. And only 2 games separate 11 out of the 12 teams. We're going into week 9. It is anyone's ball game, guys. So we got a weekend of football coming up. I'm home alone again with the boys. Apparently I have no friends, but that's okay. I got one friend. His name's Sam Adams. He'll be over on Sunday. You guys have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you later. Have a good one.